Welcome, everybody, to the very next episode of The Remedy with Tova Sido and
Janice Gaunt and
Tom Bridwell.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Another day.
Another day, another something to say.
Yeah. Another something to say. Well, that might need to be our next little tagline.
It could be.
How was y'all's weekend?
It was good.
Do anything fun?
Just kind of hung out. I'd been to Chicago visiting, Evanston. A friend and I went to visit a friend of ours in Chicago whose husband is very, very ill. And we had such a good time, but it was really hard because her husband is not doing well.
That's tough.
It was really tough.
And so sweet of y'all to be there for her.
Well, we were going up there just to have fun with her. So we went to the movie one afternoon. We had great dinners, and we would go on these long, long walks down by the lake. And it was really, really, really fun.
Was it cold?
Yeah, it was cold.
Woo!
It wasn't freezing, but it was cold enough that you had to have a coat on. We went to the movie and saw The Conclave. Have you heard about that movie?
No.
It's about when the Pope was through with his term, who they were putting in to the next position of the Pope, and that's what it's called, the conclave, when they vote, when all of these priests come in and vote. It's a very, very interesting movie.
I would find that
I
super
think you would too. And it was at the theater, so I don't know. It was in Chicago, so we went one day because it was so cold and it was so fun. But yeah, it's worth watching for sure.
I ran the Chicago Marathon in November years and years ago, and I've never been that cold in my life. It's so cold.
Girl, you've never been there in February then.
No.
Oh
yeah. When your ears froze on your earrings froze on your ears.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
I cannot
cold.
I'd never want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I was going to die. I was so cold.
It was
when I ran that. It was sleeting.
It was so cold up there that the waves would freeze in their crest.
No way.
Like when we would drive we lived in a little suburb called Kenilworth, and we would drive into the city, and when we were redoing our house, we had an apartment in the city, and then I would go back and forth and with the kids and take them to school. And when it got really cold, the waves would come up and they would freeze in the crest.
I've never, ever, ever.
It was unbelievable. All the way up the North Shore, all the waves were frozen.
Shocking.
It was
That's too cold.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do that.
You just cannot even
I'm getting
imagine.
cold thinking about how cold that is.
It's really freaking cold.
I can't believe how warm it is here in Dallas still.
I know.
I mean, middle of November, and it's just
still
not that
good.
cold.
Yeah, it's not.
I wore shorts playing golf this weekend.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Okay, so last week we talked about 7 emotional needs that every person has. But what happens when we don't have our emotional needs met and we have emotional trauma stuck in our body? Have you guys heard of the book, The Body Keeps Score?
I have heard of the book. I haven't read it.
I've only read parts of it, but it's a pretty amazing book about how our body keeps score to our emotions. So if we are emotionally, I mean, you've said 1,000 times on this podcast that we make ourselves sick.
Oh, yeah, we do.
With stress and anxiety and fear and rage and anger and trauma that has been done to us, that they can cause big physical manifestations play out.
And our body will hold on to a lot of that, especially if children are being abused in some way. I mean, that healing that trauma is a booger bear, because you've got there's a therapist in Arizona, and she's the one that taught me how to go about going and releasing the trauma that's in an adult that was done to her when she was a child. And it's really pretty amazing, because if our bodies are holding on to that emotional or physical trauma, you have to really let it go. It's just a technique, but it's really something else. So, yeah, you can't take that lightly. You know.
So I really like this one. I think it's a great follow-up from last week.
Yeah, me too.
So 6 things, that's what we're going to talk about today. 6 things that you can do to help your body heal some emotional trauma. So when you're doing the inner work, it's important to support your body in the process. So there's not only an emotional healing that comes along with trauma, but also a very physical process that you can do. So let's talk through these. You want to tackle the first one, Janice?
Sure. Go outside barefoot in the sun first thing in the morning. Take a few breaths. Be fully conscious. Notice yourself breathing and try to make it slow and steady. You know, this is a very effective way for people to deal with anxiety, because that anxiety sits in our gut. And then if we can do something like that and breathe in and breathe out and make it slow and steady, it will help to calm all of that down.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's really important.
And I definitely think being outside and barefoot, there's something about touching the earth that just feels very healing.
Yeah.
So there's a breathing technique I read about years ago that for me works tremendously to bring down, like if I'm laying in bed and my mind is going about my to-do list, or I'm thinking about my day, or I just want to get myself kind of reset, I breathe in for 7 counts, I hold for 6, and then I let out for 4. And if you do that 4 times in a row, it resets. Research has shown it resets your nervous system.
And I do that same thing, but I do it for 10 seconds each.
Oh, 10 in, 10 hold, 10 out?
But whatever works for you really does make a difference.
It makes, so do you do a certain number of those?
I'll do 10.
Oh, you do 10 and 10, 10, 10.
10.
Okay. I do 4 of 7, 6, 4. And it I don't know how, but my whole body calms down. I feel such a difference in my nervous system.
Well, when we're having some sort of trauma, or we're holding on to trauma, it's going to stay. I mean, the cells respond to that. And that's why it really does help to breathe through it and release it. There's sometimes people who are really having a real trauma response about something, if somebody in your family or somebody that you're sitting with, if you'll put your hand on their back, it'll help bring them down from the anxiety in their body. Because a lot of times the anxiety that people are feeling have been in their body all their lives, you know? So, yeah, you want to get rid of it if you can.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
God,
I'm so grateful to not be in a traumatic relationship, or it's hard. If you're in that, you got to really practice releasing that.
Boy, do you.
It's not fun.
You and I both know plenty of people who are struggling with that.
For sure.
The next one, eat real food. Quotes in the real. Avoid processed food when you can. Don't stress yourself out about eating perfectly. Celebrate the times you make a healthy choice and move forward quickly when you don't. Do I know you try really hard to eat really healthy.
I try to, I do. I mean, I'll eat a processed cracker or something like that, but I'm pretty healthy with my diet.
I try hard to eat really healthy and cook. I cook almost every night.
Yeah, that's good.
I have so much leftovers because I don't have any big boys to eat my leftovers.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Knowing what to do with all the leftovers.
Freeze it. That's what my mother used to do.
Yeah, but then I forget about it.
I know.
Tom, you want to tackle the next one?
Sure. Rest and do nothing. Your nervous system needs time where you're not going, especially when processing past trauma. Plan a few hours or an entire day for yourself where you have nowhere to be.
Ooh,
I love that.
Yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, me too.
Do you time block, set aside time in the block or time in the week where you're like, I know I don't work this and I know I don't work that?
No, I don't.
Sundays for me. Sundays, I don't plan anything.
I don't see clients on Sunday or Saturday or Sunday, but I don't schedule doing nothing, resting and doing nothing. I just do it, you know.
You just have it. You do it.
I probably have it. I probably do it more than I need to be doing it. I was looking the other day. I was in my bathroom and I opened this cabinet and it was just filled with stuff, you know, and then I looked at my makeup drawer and it was filled with stuff, and I thought, I need to spend 2 weeks at home and clean out my closet, my drawers, my bathroom.
That's when you hire a professional organizer.
Well, but they don't know what to throw away.
So it doesn't need to be organized, it just needs to be cleaned out.
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Well, you could just trash everything that you don't want and then tell her to come in and organize it all.
I can organize it. I just don't even want to do it. So I just keep shutting the cabinet.
I've been known to do that. I'm not doing that today.
I look at it and I think, I wake up and think, I'm going to clean out all those closets. And then I look at it and I'm thinking, nope, not today. I'm busy.
I've done so much of that these last few months, moving.
I know you.
Organizing, and my kids are about to come home to Craig and I's house for the first time. And they're coming to their new space, so I've had to organize their rooms and get all of their stuff right, get new beds, it has been a haul.
Oh, I'll bet.
And we're still not done.
There's nothing like moving to get you to clean out your stuff.
I'm never moving again. I told Craig I'm dying in that house.
Okay. We'll have a funeral there.
Yep. That's where the party's going to be. Okay. Next one. Follow your interest. Your intuition is key to healing, and it speaks quietly within your body. Amen to that. Listen to what you're pulled to do, try, and create. Let yourself make mistakes and have a beginner's mind. This is how you break out of perfectionism. Ooh, I love this.
Yeah, the Buddha beginner's mind.
Your intuition is key to healing, and it speaks quietly within your body. Do you feel like you have really good intuition?
I've got pretty good intuition.
I bet you have great intuition.
I kind of, yeah. I don't read minds or anything like that, but I do know, I do have a really good place where I can decide if this is going to work for me or if it isn't. You know, or if I feel like, you're just pushing yourself way too hard, you need to lie on the bed and watch Survivor.
Love it.
I know.
Follow that gut all day long.
All day long, right there on that bed.
Tom, are you very intuitive?
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Absolutely.
Say more about that.
Well, I think I inherited this trait from my dad of being able to spot a snake, like in a personality.
Oh, you're one of those.
I can just tell when somebody is cool, genuine, good character, and I can tell when somebody is
Full of shit.
yes.
Slimy, cheater.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
good.
for sure.
That's
good.
That's a good quality to have.
Yeah.
Are you good at sniffing that out?
Me? Well, probably relatively good, but I kind of believe everybody. You know, I can be sucked in.
I'm like Tom.
You are?
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
I don't always let somebody know that I'm onto them.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm a pretty good read on people.
You are?
Are you having a little snacky snack, Tom?
Sorry. Yes, I'm having a little snack.
I thought I heard paper wrestling.
Do I hear crackers? All right. You take the next one, Janice, because this is so you.
Okay. Follow your interest. Is that it, or is that the one we did? Oh, walk.
Yes, walk.
Walking has a profound impact on the brain. There's a reason why walking clears our head. When you find yourself anxious or feeling guilty, take yourself on a walk, then notice how the emotion passes.
Boy, do I believe in this.
I do too. And I walk an hour on the treadmill every day. And I like doing that too, being inside if it's cold or whatever. But no, it is, you just got to move. I have to move. If I don't move enough, then yeah.
Then I get stuck.
I think so too.
I love walking. The days that I'm the most active, I'm for sure the happiest.
Yeah.
Yoga has, I know you don't love yoga, but yoga has a profound.
I do not. Just FYI, I do not like yoga. And my daughter teaches it.
I mean, I've taken yoga with both of your, two out of three of your girls, and yoga has a profound impact on my psyche.
It has a profound impact on my psyche, too, because it causes me to cuss like a sailor. There is nothing zen about it for me.
So funny. Oh my gosh. Well, to each their own, right?
That's exactly right.
That's how I feel in Pilates. Pilates makes me evil. Hate it. Okay, cry. The last one is cry.
Yeah.
Crying is the body's way of returning to a parasympathetic state. So many of us are told to stop crying growing up. So we learn to stop our body's natural regulation response. Allow yourself to cry. Notice how calm you can feel after.
Yeah, crying is really good for people. And when I was growing up, my dad, he was from a family of 6 boys and 1 girl, and they are all from West Texas, and they're cowboys, and I would cry. They'd tease me, and I would cry, and they would call me crybaby, and be in a circle and put me in the middle of it. Oh, it was just so traumatic that so then after I was probably 10, I just didn't cry because I thought I can't cry because it wasn't safe for me to cry. And then as I got older, when I did a workshop out at the Meadows on body healing, and it was really interesting because that was one of the things that we did is she had that little girl that lived inside of me who was teased for crying, and let her come out and be there with us, and let her tell me it was okay for me to cry now, because I couldn't do it.
Did that open up and create the opportunity for you to cry?
You want me just to cry now? Yeah. No, but yeah, crying is really healthy for people.
Absolutely.
And especially with kids. I mean, if they need to cry please let them cry.
Absolutely. There's nothing weak about crying.
No, it's cleansing.
In fact, and I know you've experienced this with your clients, people come in, talk, cry, and they're like, I'm sorry. It's like, what? Cry.
Yeah.
Like, why are you sorry that you're crying about this? Like,
well, probably because people have not been given permission to cry. That's judged.
boy, I cry. I can
too.
cry.
Yeah. I hadn't cried in a long time, though.
I haven't cried in a long time either. I cried a lot in August when I sold my house and George left for school, and
that was a lot.
That was a lot. So I cried a lot that month. But it's been a while since I've cried. But I don't ever mind crying.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I don't think it's a sign of weakness. I don't think it's a sign of anything negative.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Yep, it is.
Is there anything you would add to this?
Not really. I think that the one thing that I would really encourage people around this crying thing, please give your children permission to cry. And if anyone in the family is teasing the child who is crying, please tell them to stop.
Yeah.
That in your house, it is okay to cry.
Yeah.
What's not okay is to shame somebody for crying. So I would encourage that to be practiced in people's homes.
You know, we forget that, say when Anna Prin, when she was like 12 and she got in a fight with her girlfriend and she's upset and she's crying. And it would be so easy for me, because I'm not 12 and I'm not in a fight with my girlfriend and it seems young and immature or whatever. It would be easy for me to dismiss that pain. But what we forget is, you know, she was 12 and her friends are her world, and that girl that made her cry, you know, it's all huge to them. And so even if it's not huge to us.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're an adult and your friends I'd cry about that.
For sure.
I mean, I just think giving everybody in your household permission to cry is a very healthy thing.
1,000%. The only other thing that I would add to this, and I know that we're talking about mostly body healing, but I read a study recently on the brain, and it was actually a study on memory, but it talked about trauma on the brain, and how trauma in your brain affects your memory. And it talked about how when we experience trauma, but we don't talk about it, that trauma grows. So if we don't talk, I'm not even talking about a counselor or a therapist. I'm talking about, you don't talk about it with a best friend, or you just hold it hostage in your body, that trauma on your brain grows. And so that, like, they showed that it grew. I don't know how they see the trauma on the brain, but they did. And then they showed, they did another study that on people who had trauma, who went and spoke to somebody about it, whether it was a counselor or their mom or dad or best friend. And even just one conversation about that trauma, the trauma on the brain went away by 50%.
Well, and that's the thing. When you feel, then you will heal. And it's just that it's part of our mechanism. We were created to have these emotions.
Yes.
So
I love these, and I think they're
too.
very, very insightful and super helpful. And I mean, I would just really encourage anybody who's dealing with any sort of trauma to take some of these really seriously, because like we started, the body keeps score, and you really don't want to make yourself sick.
Yeah, it's true.
With unnecessary trauma living in your body.
Yeah, for sure.
Get it out.
Get it out.
Get it out. We hope you have a great week. Thanks
Thank you
so
for
much.
listening.
Yes, thanks for listening.